This summer, settle in and reconnect with one another. South Padre Island has so many great places to stay. Condos, resorts, and hotels. Oh my! Book your summer getaway today. And start making memories poolside with the people you care about most. Visit SoPadre.com.
Good morning, everybody. We are back for another episode of Coffee with Coach O. As always, Kevin Aro alongside Coach Dolores Olguin. As always, live on a Monday morning, September 22nd. Coach O, kicking things off, not going to bury the lead here. Certainly a rough week for the Lady Bloodhounds. We usually start with the game on Tuesday, but we're going to start right with the banger on Saturday at Laredo. Lady Bloodhounds wound up losing in 4 sets, 0-2 in district play. But, Coach, just that game just had just about every twist and turn imaginable that you could think of. Now that the dust is settled somewhat on a Monday morning, just what are your overall thoughts from Saturday?
I thought initially I was like, okay, sometimes, it's you make a mistake or whatever, and it's, we're human. But I thought it just progressed and just grew and grew and grew, and it got to the point where it was like whatever could go wrong would go wrong on that day, and unfortunately that's what happened. A lot of it, as far as the game itself, we just didn't play how we should have. We made errors on the simple things, the tip behind the block that we just couldn't get. We just weren't moving, and we just weren't picking that up. But other than that, the fact that, and I'm going to say it, the officiating was not good. I think that just put more pressure on the kids. And so we really had to work hard for every single point.
Right.
I think there was a point there where I know we hit the ball and the ball was in, and the our one called it out, and even the Laredo coach was saying that ball was in, like she's motioning that ball was in. And so at that point, I was just like, what can I do as a coach? Well, I can't do a whole lot.
Right.
And I don't know if you saw, but I ended up having to sit.
Yes.
And at that point, I was just like, I'm pretty much, my hands are tied. I can't say a whole lot. And I think back to when I was coaching at Hannah, and the rule was coaches couldn't stand. You had to sit the whole game. And, of course, that's what it was, and everybody was used to that, so it wasn't a big deal. And I know that a couple of times I would get warned because I would jump up to cheer, and I would, be clapping, and they'd say, Coach, you need to sit down. So I'd sit down. But I knew that that's what it was, you know what I mean? So, and of course, the game's exciting. You stand up, you jump up and down and stuff. And but this weekend was just, I don't think I've ever been in a match like that, where basically it was so, I'm gonna say biased, and not Laredo. The kids didn't have anything to do with it. The coach didn't have anything to do with it. But it was just so off, And my thing was, they're not hurting me,
Right.
It's the kids. And I just felt like there was not a whole lot that we could do to win that match, besides the really obvious stuff.
Right.
Anything that was close. And I told the kids, if you think that ball might be in, it might also be out, you just play it. Just play it. Don't give them more power to overrule whether the ball was in or out.
Right.
And it was just crazy. I played it over and over in my head like I always do, but this time it was even worse.
Yep.
But it was very frustrating. It was frustrating for me as a coach to watch my kids have to be in that situation. and I couldn't do anything.
Right.
You know, I'm sitting on the chair with my legs
Right.
crossed because my feet couldn't touch that line. So
How, and
That was crazy.
you know, last year, it was last year at Saks when Carmina got the first yellow. I had never seen a yellow. I didn't even know you could get a yellow in
Mhm.
volleyball.
Mhm.
There were a couple on Saturday that were a little questionable. That
yeah,
I felt that maybe the R1 maybe could have been a little bit more patient when our kids went and asked a question
Mhm.
with the R1 and they
Mhm.
just flipped the yellow card. Like
hmm
they're just
no, and that's
yeah.
and I found out, and I was pretty sure I knew the rule, but I always like to check
Right.
to confirm. And so the rule is, as a captain, you
Mhm.
can go up and ask a question as many times as you need, as long as you're not questioning a what was the word she used? As long as it's a clear rule and not an like it's your uh, not opinion, but you saw and that's what you call it.
Right.
So and I knew that rule, and I know somebody looked it up on on their phone, and they were like, "There's that's no such thing as you can only ask two questions."
Right.
And so it was just very frustrating. And I know they gave out a few in the was it the first set or the
Might have
third
been
set? No, I think we got something on the first set.
a
A
yellow.
yellow, I think. Unless it was the third. It was
It
a
might have been
third.
the third.
It was a third because we were on the same side we had started. And I was just like,
Yeah. And I feel, the kids showed so much resiliency
really did.
and they kept their composure
Mhm.
and, we've seen that fight in them,
Mhm.
the last few years, with the upperclassmen, even the sophomores, seniors that we do have.
Mhm.
But that first set, it really didn't, I mean, that, the officiating wasn't as questionable then.
No.
I didn't
No.
think, in my
We
opinion.
just didn't we
We
didn't
just,
play
we, yeah,
well.
we, yeah, we just came out a little sleepy and it was 25-11. But in that second set, the way the team responded, and that's what
Mhm.
Regina Garza and I were talking about on air, was like,
Mhm.
what a response in that second
Mhm.
set
Mhm.
from how the kids played. And really, it was from that second set to that fourth set that they just went completely,
Mhm.
they were
No
motivated.
holds.
They,
Yeah.
I mean, again, the more we see this team, we see that resiliency that they never quit.
Mhm.
And then the defense.
Mhm.
And I wanted to pick your brain about this too, and we can talk a little bit more about it later. But I was telling Regina that Laredo team was a little different. Um, they were more defensive savvy
Mhm.
than they were offensively.
Mhm.
Where in the
Mhm.
past we've seen they have some really big
Yeah.
hitters. But again, we'll talk about that in a minute. But just right now, we're talking about the resiliency of the kids and just how I mean, I was proud on how they just continued to fight and fight and fight through all that adversity.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they never gave up, and I was super proud of them for that. I was just so upset that I couldn't focus on much. At the end of the match, I was just like, I don't think I've ever been so upset, and I, I think I kept my cool pretty much for the most part. I did tell them I'm so angry,
Yeah.
in the huddle.
They were
And
too, and rightfully so. I mean, they were
yeah,
frustrated
and
too.
and they were too, yeah, but they, and I just kind of I just told them, you got to use this. You got to use every time somebody punches you and it's a low blow, or how you
A gut
something,
punch,
a
yeah,
gut punch or
yeah,
something
for sure.
that's not how it should be.
Right.
You need to, if it makes you angry, you use that, and you use that to come back and score a point, and
Mhm.
score a point, and score a point, and win a set. But yeah, that first set reminded me a lot of the first set against Vets, because we
Mhm.
we came out the same way.
Mhm.
I think they served real well. Laredo
Yeah.
served well
Yeah,
that
they did.
first set,
They
and
did.
I think that's what really threw us,
Mhm.
because we did
Mhm.
we didn't we just didn't respond like we should have.
Right.
So, but yeah, you're right. That second set, it was like, oh, we're awake now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's tough. I mean,
Mhm.
I think at one point, and sometimes I think, oh, you shouldn't have said that. But I was like, you're playing against 10 people. You're gonna have to overcome this.
Mhm.
You know.
Mhm.
But
You know, and I felt deep down. I'm like, ooh, if we get this to a fifth
Oh, we-
set, we're winning.
Yeah,
We're winning.
definitely we would have.
We get this to a fifth set, we're winning.
Yeah.
Because we had all the momentum.
And they fought so hard.
Yeah.
You know,
To get back to that
to get
spot
back to that spot.
and to get it to a fifth set, and I just had a feeling. I'm like, if we can just get this to a fifth set,
Yeah.
there's no way we're gonna lose this match, because you had already poked the bear, and that was multiple bears.
Yeah.
You know, that those kids were just eager and they were so hungry. So
Yeah.
I mean, still very early in the district season. You know, unfortunately, an 0-2 start isn't ideal, but there's still plenty of time to right the ship, and that starts tomorrow with San Antonio St. Anthony's, and then wrapping up the week with another road trip at St. Mary's Hall, which we went to 5 sets last
Yeah.
year. Last year we did split with Laredo, correct? From what I remember.
I wanna say
I believe we split with them.
did. I wanna say we did.
Because it was 2 losses to Saks, 1 to Victoria.
Did we have 4 losses? I thought we were 9-3.
Finished as the 3 seed, so. Well,
It was Saks
yeah.
was second.
Yeah, Saks was second,
Mhm.
and we were third.
Mhm.
So did I was trying to rack my brain whether we split with Laredo. I want to say we did,
I don't
or did we sweep them last year?
because we played. Well, remember we played over there last year. That's when they called Carmina for a foot fault when she was a foot away from the line.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we won that match, and then we won at home in 4. I think.
Yes, yeah, it was a long one here at home. I
Yeah.
know we won here for sure.
Yeah, I don't remember actually.
But either way, there's still plenty of time to right the ship, and then the good thing is that, you know, Saks will come to St. Joe, and Laredo still has to come home here to Brownsville. Looking forward to tomorrow's match with St. Anthony's. I know they don't have their big middle, Laura Sierra. I know she graduated, but I know they still had a couple of pieces.
Yeah.
Actually, no, excuse me. I'm sorry. Before we get to St. Anthony's, I want to touch upon Laredo one more time, and I wanted to get your thoughts on just how different the team looked.
The Laredo team.
Yeah, Laredo team from it was different from a team that has hitters to
Yeah.
a team that was more defense.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, this is nothing against my team, but she ran her offense exactly how I would have, knowing that I didn't have the big hitter. Because they scored a bunch on us on those tips. And the defense, like you said, they were very, very well. I mean, they dug up almost everything we hit at them. We hit a lot to the libero, which wasn't a good thing, and she was pretty good.
Yeah.
So, but that was a totally different, I guess, offensive game that they have that they have this year compared to what they've had for the last 8 years.
Right.
They don't have the really big girls, so I mean that was smart. They
Changed
did
their
what
scheme.
they changed. They totally changed their scheme, and I mean it worked. Obviously, it didn't work for us, but it worked for them.
Right.
But you know, we have to be able to adjust to that, and I think we did for the most part in the back, but I think behind the block we just were too slow going,
Right.
and you know it kind of hurt us. But I was gonna say something, I can't remember what it was, but yeah, definitely it was a totally different,
No, it certainly
totally
was.
different game.
And go ahead.
No, it was just a
Yeah.
totally different game that they've always played.
Right, and that's what I was telling Regina Garza before the match. Is I was trying to say, okay, like Laredo, I said they usually have a lot of really good hitters. I go, they may not be as vicious as Saks was on the block. I go, we should win that match up there. I said, but I go, let's see what kind of hitters they have. And as the match went on, I mentioned that on air. I said, you know, this is a different Laredo team that we've seen in the past. They don't exactly have that big hitter that can take over a match like we saw Tuesday at Veterans. But it was just a different look. They were more defense first and going off a lot of tips, but certainly still a pretty good challenge, and you know we'll see how it goes second time around. But we're gonna take our first break. When we come back, we're gonna break down the St. Anthony's matchup and the St. Mary's Hall matchup later this week on a Saturday. When we come back, this is Coffee with Coach O.
This summer, settle in and reconnect with one another. South Padre Island has so many great places to stay. Condos, resorts, and hotels. Oh my! Book your summer getaway today. And start making memories poolside with the people you care about most. Visit SoPadre.com.
No matter where you are in life, Texas Southmost College is here to help you move forward. Whether you're starting fresh, changing careers, or gaining new skills, TSC has affordable programs designed to fit your goals. It's time to take the next step. Think big. Think bright. Think TSC.
Fiber, this is our home. Take a look at what we do.
Ready to drive with confidence? Arroyo Driving School helps teens and adults become safe, skilled drivers. Our certified instructors teach the latest techniques to ensure you're prepared for any road. With quality vehicles and hands-on training, we give you the skills to drive responsibly. Get started today.
Elevation, AT4, AT4X, Denali. Case closed. For your GMC, we're professional grade.
Welcome back to Coffee with Coach O. Kevin Aro alongside Coach Dolores Oleguin, live in the Bloodhound Cafe. Thanks for tuning in on this Monday morning. So now the focus shifts to St. Anthony's. I checked the taps.biz. It still has them. They haven't updated their
Yeah, a lot of the
schedule
coaches
there.
don't.
But one thing we do know is Victoria did beat Sachs. So
In 3? And 4. Oh, it doesn't.
I'm just looking at the standings.
Oh, okay.
I can look that up though, but
it's okay.
you know, Victoria's
Victoria.
3-0, and yeah, Victoria is Victoria. So still early in the district season. So just the kids finally get to play back at home. Let's start there.
And they really want to play in the dome. And that the first thing they said when we were leaving Laredo was, please, can we play them in the dome? Please, 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 can we play them in the dome? And I said, I'll see what I can do. You know, it's just that's their home.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what it's like not to play in your home, on your home court.
Mm-hmm.
When I was at Hannah, you know, every year they redo the floors, BISD, every school, every
Mhm.
gym. And so one year, I can't remember what year it was. I think it was 94, the fall of 94 or the fall of 95, one of the two. Anyway, they did the floor right before we started. So we started 2-a-days
Mhm.
and we had no gym. So I was like, what are we gonna do? You know, well at the time they had opened Vela Middle School, which Vela Middle School was supposed to be a freshman campus. That
Mhm.
was what it was built for, but it didn't turn out that way. So they were like, you're gonna be going to Vela, you're gonna practice there, and you'll have your games there. And if you've ever been in Vela, you know, regular gyms have that high ceiling. Well,
Mhm.
Vela Middle School is probably not much higher than this. And we would pass the ball, and that ball would come back straight down so fast, so hard,
Huh.
because it's so low. So we actually played so much better once we had been in that gym.
Mhm.
And we played a bunch of our district matches in there, actually. For whatever reason, I don't know what else has happened. Something had happened, and it had to be a longer wait to get back into Hannah. But we really learned how to keep that pass low
Mhm.
and run a quick offense, because that's how you run a quick offense. We ended up winning district that year, actually. But it was, I mean, you know, the kids were like, why do we have to play here? Oh my God, we would pass the ball and it would drop back down, and I would be like, you gotta keep it low. That was like every day, almost everybody. You gotta keep it low. But we got used to it. But of
Mhm.
course, you know, they got back home and it was like, oh,
Right.
thank you, Jesus. So I know what they feel like.
Little bit of an adjustment, but nonetheless, I'm sure it's good to not have to get on the bus and go 4 hours either way, and
Oh, yeah.
just
Definitely.
get to play here on your home court. So again, the St. Anthony's matchup, they're coming off a loss to St. Mary's Hall in 3 sets. In fact, they're also 0-2. They lost to Victoria in straight sets, lost to St. Mary's, and then we have a date with them tomorrow afternoon. So. I think this team can maybe, and this is what happens when you lose. For me, speaking as a former athlete, if I was in those kids' shoes, the way I would feel is like, all right, I'm taking it on the next team that I see. So you can expect maybe these kids to come out with a little gusto
Mm-hmm.
and maybe some excitement to, one, be back at home, and two, just like, all right, time to let our frustrations out.
Mhm.
All right, St. Anthony's, you're up next.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way I would see it. That's the way I was as an athlete.
Yeah, I was too. And as a coach, that's the way I felt.
Mhm.
Like, okay, you know, we're down 0-2. It's like I'm gonna swing for
Yeah.
I'm gonna swing for the fence, you know.
Right.
But I think they'll be okay,
Yeah.
you know.
No, for
and
sure.
and they are playing at home, and
Mhm.
and I think a lot of it for us is just gonna be in this match. I think it's gonna be more of a mental adjustment to going in there with a frame of mind that we got it.
Mhm.
You know, we need to do this, and we've got, you know, we've got what it takes to do it. So I I I mean, I have, you know, a lot of faith in the kids.
Mhm.
And, you know, I tell them, you know, I always tell them, like, I believe in you. I believe you've got the team that can go, you know, and we just can't start slow.
Right.
And I think if we just get out there and just jump on it, we're gonna be okay.
Mm-hmm. Right, absolutely. And the team goes back on the road
Saturday.
Saturday at St. Mary's Hall, a place that it's just as tough to win there. It's just as tough to win in Laredo. Tough place to play, but last year they took us to, we swept them in the season. But I remember last time we went up there,
5.
we went to 5 sets, and I know their libero was pretty nifty as well.
Mhm.
So it just proposes another challenge for this team. And which, coach, really this district is shaping up. We'll know more tomorrow with St. Anthony's, but this district is shaping up again just to be as tough as expected.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, you could tell last year, you know, when we played St. Anthony's, when we played St. Mary's, when we played Laredo, you know, that it wasn't like with the exception of Victoria, you
Mhm.
know, who we also beat.
Right.
There's not really anybody that just stands out, so high above everybody else. It's just going to be a matter of what we go out there and do from the get-go instead of waiting until second set or
The good news, I'm looking down at the schedule. The good news is we go to St. Mary's on Saturday, and then
We're home.
we have a 4-game homestand. We host on the 30th. We host Providence. Saturday we host Victoria, and then following Tuesday, October 7th, we host Sacs. And then there's a bye, right? The Harvest Christian game, is it still on?
no.
No. So there's a bye in between. That's on October 11th. That's a Saturday. And then we start that's
The second round.
Yeah, the second round starts October 7th, home against Sacs, home against Laredo, and then they won't hit the road until October 18th. So that's the
And then
bright side.
I think we have 3 away.
Yes,
at
yeah,
the end.
3 out of the last 4 will be on the road, but the good thing is
We have 4 at home.
yeah, home tomorrow, road Saturday, and then a nice little home stand there for these kids to just kind of be able to be on their home court up until October 18th at St. Anthony's, back home on the 22nd of October against St. Mary's, and then that's when that road trip really starts at Providence, and then we finish off the regular season in Victoria. So there's still plenty of time. And like I said, tomorrow, it starts with tomorrow, trying to pick up that first district win. And I think with any team, once you pick up that first district win, everything else just continues to
Yeah.
kind of flow just a little bit.
Yeah, I think we will we'll go back to the mentality of okay, we can do this. I think there's a week where we play a Tuesday, Thursday.
Yes.
I don't know if it's 1 week or 2 weeks.
It's
I think it's Providence and Victoria
Mm-hmm.
that we play on.
Wednesday.
No.
Oh, on the,
No, that's the original one.
Oh, okay.
That's St. Mary's.
Okay.
I think you had St. Mary's, right? Is that who it was?
St. Mary's on a Wednesday.
No, it's a Tuesday.
Oh, it's a Tuesday. Okay.
Yeah. So this one is on the 23rd. So we play Tuesday, St. Mary's Tuesday, and Providence Thursday.
Okay.
It was homecoming or
Oh, that's
something.
right,
I
that's
don't
right, that's
remember
right,
what
that's
it
right.
was that we changed it for. So, but yeah, I'm excited about tomorrow. I'm excited that we're at home.
Yep.
And I think the kids are going to, rebound and just come in, and they know they need to.
Mm-hmm.
I know they need to.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying it like to put pressure on them
Mhm.
because they put enough pressure on themselves. But I mean, like I said, I have I have a lot of faith in what they
Mhm.
can do, what we're capable of doing. We have so much more that we haven't done yet. You've seen them in practice.
Mm-hmm.
And I know practice is not the same as being in a game because, there's the pressure of the official and the other team and stuff like that. But I always tell them how you practice should be how you play.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're at practice, you got to go. You can't I'm tired today or whatever, and I'm just going to go easy. But, we've done so much stuff. They've done so much stuff offensively, but I haven't seen it in a game yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's time.
Yep.
And I think if we can do that, and I tell them there's a reason why we do it. Not just because it looks cool when you do it and you score a big kill. It's an offensive move. It's like, anything else. If the defense is right here, well, I'm going to spread my offense out so that I can get by that defense.
Mm-hmm.
And so I tell them, why do we do this? And a couple of them will say to move the block. If you can move the block, then there's chances of you're going to have a split, or she's not going to get there. You're going to go against, different scenarios like that. So I'm waiting for them to really, fall back on that and actually follow through on it.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the determining factor in running that stuff is the pass. So, but I think overall we didn't pass badly on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we passed decent,
Yep.
decent enough.
Yep.
It was just,
Yeah, the question marks on the officiating for sure.
yeah.
But
Especially when the game is tight.
yeah.
That's when I say, gosh, couldn't have you made that call like 6 points ago, not when it's 24-22 or whatever it was
Yeah.
at that point, But it wasn't just that set, I'm just saying. I as because I've officiated before, and when it's like that, I have a hard time blowing the whistle, knowing that I'm gonna affect the outcome. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Oh, for sure. I understand. I've seen that where officials will, they'll let the game take care of itself,
Yeah.
and they just let it happen.
Mhm.
The officials never want to dictate the outcome,
Yeah.
and that's I know I've been around plenty of coaches, and they preach that to their players is that you never want to let the umpires, the officials, the refs
Determine.
dictate the outcome.
Yeah.
You want to control it,
Mhm.
and all for sure. But nonetheless, shout out to the junior varsity.
Oh yeah,
Second straight
Second set.
Saturday.
and the freshman
And
one.
the freshmen, yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
the freshmen won in
course,
straight
it was the
sets.
same kids, but-
yeah. The freshmen won in straight sets, and then the JV. I mean, they just have a knack for
Coming back, yeah.
coming back, and I mean that second set was pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was
how they
pretty.
came
It was
back.
pretty impressive. It was pretty intense and pretty impressive.
Mhm.
And I know I went in there and I chimed in. I know Victoria talked to them and stuff, but I was just like, "Come on, you're right there. You can do this." And
Mhm.
so
No, they certainly put together a fine comeback.
it's
and
fun watching them.
It is. It's
fun
a lot of
watching
fun
them.
watching them. They're 2-0 in districts.
Yeah.
So
And this is actually the first year that we've won district matches.
wow.
I
Yeah.
think we might have won one last year. I don't remember, but it's been a long
Yeah.
time.
No, for sure.
It's been a
Absolutely.
long time. So
Absolutely. And the junior high, they have a match this week,
they play Wednesday.
Wednesday.
They play Wednesday. They are playing at Falk. All
That's
four
right.
teams.
All 4 teams.
Yeah,
that's
they
right,
play
that's
at
right.
4, 5, 6, and 7.
That's right. That's right. And then so tomorrow will be varsity, freshman JV varsity, and then the junior high on Wednesday, and then they won't have a match until Saturday,
Right.
and that's at St. Mary's Hall
And the middle school goes to the tournament Friday
Okay.
and Saturday
at OLS.
at OLS.
Okay.
It'll be at OLS and Juan Diego Academy.
Okay.
So I really have to get the directions because that place is like
It's in
out in the middle of
Mission.
nowhere.
Yeah, like in Mission.
I think every time I go, I get lost.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. Well, that's going to wrap up our Coffee with Coach O here on a Monday morning. Again, a special thank you to Miss Amanda for hosting us here in the Bloodhound Cafe. Tomorrow, the game times at
2, 3, and 4.
2, 3, and 4 right here on campus at St. Joe. We encourage all the fans to come out and the parents come out and support the girls. If not, if you're still at work, you can always catch it on the Bloodhound channel. We'll be live for you there as well. And then on Saturday, again, we'll hit the road to San Antonio. Same deal. Hopefully, you all can make the trip up. There was a good crowd, too. The parents
Yeah, there
traveled
was
well on Saturday.
there was a pretty good
We had a
crowd.
very good crowd, and we had a very good crowd last Saturday, too, on Saturday
Mhm.
and at SAC. So shout out to the parents, man. They've been showing up, and they've been
Yeah.
supporting the kids, especially on the road. So tomorrow we'll be here. If you can't make it, tune in. Saturday, same deal. Hopefully we can see everybody up there. If not, we got you covered on the Bloodhound channel. So that'll wrap up this episode of Coffee with Coach O. We'll see you guys next week.
This summer, settle in and reconnect with one another. South Padre Island has so many great places to stay. Condos, resorts, and hotels. Oh my! Book your summer getaway today. And start making memories